Hey, nerds and nerdettes, welcome to Nerd Culture Undisputed. I am Kyle Wright, back in it today with Mr. Adam Goff after a week-long hiatus. Adam, welcome back.
Glad to be back. Sorry about that, everybody. I had my mom and dad in town, and they were leaving in another day, so had to make some arrangements to hang out with them for a little bit before they headed back home. So missed you guys, but happy to be back this week.
I think I speak for all of our fans when I say, how dare you?
Yeah, right?
How dare you?
Yeah, family, man.
Yep.
Got to do it.
I understand. No question at all. Liam did a good job filling in. It was a good episode last week, but it's good to have you back for sure because we've been waiting on this recording for a long time. We have so many more ideas.
We've teased a little bit about it.
Yeah, we've teased a little bit, and we have so many more to do because we have a whole video just on like possible cameos in this movie that don't have to do with what we're talking about today. But of course, we're talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It's going to be pure madness. I mean, I to play on the words at least, right?
I mean, the options are limitless in terms of what they can do and where they can go and who they can introduce, reintroduce, who they can possibly kill off or bring back to life. I mean, there's just, again, there's infinite number of universes, right? So everything is on the table.
Absolutely. So in the trailer, we see Doctor Strange is, let's just say, put in captivity by Ultron sentries and taken into a room, which we're assuming is Marvel's Illuminati. And we know that that's where we hear Patrick Stewart's voice for the first time, Professor X.
And you see his earlobe.
You see his earlobe, the back of his head, half of the back of his head. And that's where we confirm for the first time that Professor X is in the MCU. Patrick Stewart's come out and confirmed it since.
Mm-hmm. IMDb lists him as one of the first five actors, five actors cast in the movie. So I think that's confirmation. I mean, I don't think Marvel would allow that to happen. I mean, I don't think they put that in there thinking, yeah, we're going to fool somebody because who's that going to be? Everybody knows who that is.
Absolutely. And so what I want to do is I want to go through the OG 6 members one by one.
Okay.
Because obviously you got Professor X, you got Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Reed Richards, Black Bolt, Namor. Those are the original 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go through them one by one and, of course, confirm whether we think they're going to be in it. And then what I want to do is we know we've got 6 chairs, and then we've got Professor X in the middle and his hopefully hover car.
Hopefully it's the gold or yellow hover chair.
I hope so.
Right.
I think we both think so.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, I mean, either way, he's going to roll up in the middle either way. So we've got 6 empty chairs, and we're going to do our best to fill them and make our own Marvel Illuminati. So let's start, of course, with Professor X. No doubt about this one at this point, right?
Right. I mean, we heard his voice. I mean, whether you want to go back to, Star Trek The Next Generation and, all the way through, to the X-Men and even Logan.
Go to American Dad.
Right. You hear that voice and you automatically know who that is. And
right.
then you see the outline, the silhouette of the side of his head and the side and the back of his head, I should say. And, I mean, he's obviously there, which, brings to the forefront, holy shit, we've got mutants in the MCU.
This is the first, I mean, other than, damn it, what's the kid's name? The actor's name that played Quicksilver in the Fox universe. Evan Peters.
Yeah, Evan Peters.
Other than Evan Peters' appearance in WandaVision, this is the first, confirmed confirmation of one of those guys coming into the MCU. And now, it's Patrick Stewart. It's Professor X. We're not stupid.
Right.
I know that sometimes they like to think we are, telling us they're not the werewolf, Mr. Andrew Garfield.
So, would you rather have Patrick Stewart or James McAvoy?
I think for the future of the MCU, James McAvoy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, how long does Patrick Stewart really have in the acting game? How much longer has he got left? And I know
I hate to say this, but on this earth.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, and that's sad. That's a sad reality that you got to face. But I think McAvoy he's an accomplished actor, and I think that we could go a long way. So, and that's where I'm going to get today.
Okay.
I think that some of these characters that we are going to see on this Illuminati, like the next one, well, not the next one that we're going to be doing, but one of them is like they're not necessarily going to be their variants in our universe, but they are going to have variants in our universe. And I think our Professor X, or our Patrick Stewart, our
He's
Professor,
everybody's Patrick Stewart.
we love you, Patrick. Our Professor X is going to end up being James McAvoy. I think in the long run, unless they completely recast them, which I think this is the way to do it if you're going to do it, right? If you're going to completely recast the character, then this what better way than to bring.
And I've got one in my list here that we're going to cover later about who, how, and why we're recasting. So
okay, fair.
Just teaser.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have an idea of who you got. So we both got Professor X. We're 100% on Professor X.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. So let's go to Doctor Strange. Because we know this is his movie. Yeah. We know that he is brought to the Illuminati for reasons that I'm going to get into in a second. I think I know why. I mean, the dude's broken how many time rules at this point.
Right. And, you look at the, just the warning that Wong gave him in No Way Home.
No Way Home, yeah.
And now he's doing even more shit that is just, what you got going on here, bud? What's going on?
So he did the Runes of Kafka, I think is the name of it, the spell that he cast in No Way Home to make everybody forget about Peter Parker. He used the Time Stone multiple times. Had to have broken so many rules using that because he fast forwarded to see 17 million realities of
14 million 186,000 or something crazy like that.
But he used the Time Stone to do that. That's got to be like against the rules, right? And then he also used it in the first Doctor Strange movie to reverse Wong's death. He's broken a lot of rules of like time travel and of probably of sorcery, right?
Laws of physics,
right? So that's got to be why he is brought to the Illuminati in the first place. But which Doctor Strange is this? Is this going to be
the one being brought or the one on the
one on the Illuminati? The one being brought is ours.
I think it's Defender Strange.
So the one from the trailer, the ponytail Strange.
I think it's Defender Strange. I think
Hip-hop
it's the
Strange.
one that is there to basically guard not only the Time Stone but also our reality, and with the Illuminati, it's going to be other realities, right? Because I think we're going to see an amalgam of different universes and realities coming into one to form this group here. And I think it's going to be Defender Strange. He seems to be the most level-headed Strange that we have. He's not, outlandish. He's not heartbroken. Right, he's not lost his love. He's lost his use of his hands, other than the powers that he has now. But he has a sense of morality that I think is going to really kind of make his voice be probably the number one voice on that panel.
So to me here, I don't think it's Doctor Strange at all. Like, I think it's a Sorcerer Supreme, but I think it's Mordo. In the trailer, we see, I think, two different variants of Mordo, and one would specifically with dreadlocks that is in the Illuminati HQ, which we're all assuming is Illuminati HQ at this point, and he goes to fight Doctor Strange, and that's all we see. But that's who I think it is here. I think because he's really, he's going to be casted, he's going to be portrayed as the villain, if you will, but he's just against the way Strange is using his powers and everything. So maybe this is the alternate universe where he became the Sorcerer Supreme and he's using all of his stuff in the right way, and that's why he is on the Illuminati.
I can see that, because also in the trailer you see somebody walking up high where those chairs are.
Right.
And it looks like he has some kind of sword or weapon in his back, which Mordo carries.
Right, and we see him wield the sword later in the trailer. Anyway.
Right, so maybe that is... Yeah, so that could be a good call there with Mordo.
But, I mean, Defender Strange is a good pick as well. I mean, there's no way he... Unless, we have both of those guys on this Illuminati.
Could be.
I mean, it's very possible.
Different realities.
Right. Ooh, we got a lot more. So far, you got Professor X and Defender Strange. I've got Professor X and Mordo. All right, so let's go to Iron Man because this could get fun. We know the rumors.
Is there a way they can mess this up? I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
is there a way that they could mess this up at all? With, I mean, if this is the road that they're going with the Illuminati, which we all think it is, and they have just a version of Iron Man, is there any way that they can mess that up to where people are going to hate it?
I think that people are going to be very, oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? People don't like change.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Falcon and the Winter Soldier, people were very, not really upset, but people were not too welcoming to Sam Wilson donning the Stars and Stripes, even though that happens in like all the comics. Like it's hard to get rid of that character that we know so well.
Mm-hmm. So
anytime you recast somebody that is known and loved, especially Robert Downey Jr. at this point, because he's the godfather of the MCU, it's going to get interesting. But I mean, we've heard the rumors. We know, we've seen like maybe leaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that this is Tom Cruise's Iron Man?
Well, I mean, and honestly, this all started off as kind of a bad joke, right? I mean, we've all seen the memes where it's, if, you know, the MCU was started in the 1980s, who's playing what character, right? Who's playing these superheroes? And of course, everybody puts Tom Cruise there in as Iron Man.
He fits the character.
He does.
He does.
He does. So and again, is this Kevin Feige and Marvel paying homage to all those people that, you know, I mean, like with No Way Home, we got our wish list, right? We wish that we had Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe and all these other actors in here and all these other characters. And then we got our wish. So is this them kind of placating to the fan base and saying, yeah, so we don't get Robert Downey Jr., but you still got Iron Man.
Right.
So my take on it is I do think it's Tony Cruise. Or Tony Cruise. Look at me blending the characters. Tom Cruise playing Tony Stark, who's playing, you know, his Iron Man. But I think it's going to be Superior Iron Man, which came out in the, the all-new, all-different Marvel run back in the late 2010s. So, but Superior Iron Man has, like, Infinity Stones built into his armor.
Oh.
So he's silver, and he's got kind of like a, I don't want to call it a tiara, but that's what it looks like on his head, right? It's like a wrap or something, like a metallic wrap, and it's got like, you know, different stones and stuff all throughout it. So I feel like this could probably be that version of Iron Man. I don't want to see some old Tony Stark or anything like that. I want to see snarky, funny, witty, and
he would probably be a lot more douchey because the assumption at this point is that the Ultron system worked in his universe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if those are his centuries, then absolutely.
Right.
And I think, you know, we've already seen the back and forth between, you know, the MCU, Tony Stark with Robert Downey Jr. and Dr. Stephen Strange, and they don't like each other.
Right.
You know, they all have a goal, but they don't like each other. So if they can get that same kind of snark out of hopefully a Tom Cruise played, you know, Tony Stark, then I think we're better. We're all better for it.
I agree. All right, so let's go to the next one here, Mr. Fantastic, because this is going to be a new character to the MCU, but it's going to be a character that we've seen twice. Well, let's just say once. So we're gonna pretend that last one doesn't exist, right?
Miles Teller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to pretend that doesn't exist.
Right. Let's skip that one.
I probably should have wrote the original. Who's the original actor that plays Dr.
Ian Greffield.
Ian Greffield. Okay. Mm-hmm. So are we thinking that this is... Okay, so let's just start first off the bat. It's before I get into the actors. Mr. Fantastic, on your Illuminati for this movie or not?
Yeah. I mean, what a better way to introduce the Fantastic Four in the MCU than with this, because we've all seen the teases, you know, like we talked about in previous episodes here on Nerd Culture Undisputed. You know, it's the four on the building and all this other stuff. You know, Reed Richards is arguably one of the brightest minds in the Marvel universe, right? I mean, it would only make sense to have him right there, especially with all of the crap that's happening out there right now. So, they'd be stupid to have somebody like Reed Richards on there. And I don't know if it's going to be Ian Gruffudd, if they're going to, you know, bring another actor in. I know you and I have talked, you know, off show here where, you know, we've had our kind of wish list. So if you want to delve into that, you can.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that we might see both. Like, so this is where I was getting into with Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've got the OG actor. We've got our Patrick Stewart's going to come into us.
Mm-hmm.
And then our variant in our universe is going to end up being, let's just for the video's sake say James McAvoy and pretend like he's never been Professor X. So that maybe that's what they do with Mr. Fantastic. Like, we get Ian Gruffudd. Ian Gruffudd comes in and plays Mr. Fantastic on the Illuminati. Like, okay. So that, like, we get to see the OG Mr. Fantastic, like, to like the classic movie fan. That's awesome. But we didn't, like, maybe later in the movie through post-credit scene, however it's got to be done, we find out that our Mr. Fantastic is John Krasinski.
Right, from The Office.
I mean, listen, this is the perfect casting. I can't see, out of all the fan castings you've ever seen, have you seen one better than John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic?
No, I mean, Marvel, obviously, their best casting ever was Robert Downey Jr.
Right, yeah,
Tony
right.
Stark. I mean, like, that just... They couldn't have hit that further out of the park.
Right.
But, you know, John Krasinski, he's got the chops, right? He's got the acting chops from, you know, the funny side with The Office to the more serious side with all the
Jack Ryan
Incredible. And all that stuff, right? You know, he's got that physically imposing thing. He's got that intense thing going with the was it the quiet place?
Yeah, Quiet Place.
Yeah, great.
And also 13 Hours. He's got intensity. Mm-hmm. He's an incredible actor.
And then also he has a pretty smoking hot wife, Emily Blunt. Who knows? Maybe she's Sue Storm. Let's go.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's go.
Why wouldn't you?
We've got Mr. Fantastic and Miss Fantastic. You know, Invisible Woman. Let's go.
We don't have to have any awkward kisses.
Right. Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe cast Jenna Fisher so we can get an office reunion. We'll cast Brian Baumgartner as Thing. Right? It's just an office reunion. Human Torch.
No, let's do Kevin as Thing.
Kevin.
Yeah.
So not like Brian Baumgartner. He is Kevin.
Yes. Let's do Kevin.
And then maybe BJ Novak can play.
No, let's leave him out of it.
No, he's such a douche though. It's perfect. He'd be a perfect Human Torch.
I'm not a fan.
So we're both gonna say yes, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think so. And you could be right. I mean, it could be like a, you know, here's an older version from a different universe, but then our universe's version is you know, John Krasinski or possibly some other actor, because you never know what Marvel's going to do.
That's fair. All right, so let's go to this one here, Namor, because he's a part of it in the original comic run, but we think that there's no way he's going to be on this Illuminati. We think that he's got I don't want to say a bigger role, but let's just say a more important role coming up.
Yeah, I mean, all speculation points to him being the antagonist in Black Panther 2, right? Whether you want to call him a villain or not, he's going to be the main antagonist to, you know, the threat to Wakanda. I mean, we've seen teases of Namor. I want to say it was Iron Man 2, right before the Avengers, when, you know, Fury brings Stark in, and they have that big TV up there with all the different little hot spots and stuff, and there's one, you know, smack dab in the middle of the ocean, and you're like, well, is that Atlantis? What the hell is that?
Right. And then, of course, the call in Endgame where she said there's an earthquake under the ocean, and how are we going to deal with it?
Let's go check it out or something.
Not. Yeah. Right. So maybe that's, I mean, there it is. There's your lead up.
But yeah, I think Namor is going to be introduced in. I don't think they introduced Namor only to have him be the, you know, the villain, if you want to call him that, because he's not a villain. I mean, he's not a hero, but he's not a villain either, at least in the comics. So,
Right.
So I don't think they introduce him here. I think they wait for Black Panther 2, especially considering the fact that we don't have Chadwick Boseman to portray T'Challa, right? So, you know, I think that has to be the big story with Black Panther 2. So,
Man, that's going to get interesting. But you got something on that here in a little bit. That I'm excited to hear. Black Bolt. Should we even spend time on this?
Well, you and I talked before the show, right? And Inhumans, the TV show that debuted on ABC, lasted a whole year, right? I mean, like we knew it was going to end.
That long. Can't believe it went.
Well,
they'd
already filmed.
I know. I just can't believe they let it.
But it was so bad. It was so cheesy. But I have a theory.
Oh.
Okay, I have a theory here. Could be wrong. More than likely, I'm wrong. But hear me out. Okay, so the Inhumans, right? They all have different special abilities, right? They all have these things that make them who they are, and you know they're very powerful. There are some that are more powerful than others. We've seen that before, right? Not in the MCU, but in other universes. And, you know, these Inhumans are created by this Terrigen mist, right? And it reacts to their DNA, and it allows them to kind of develop these abilities and these powers. So, again, we've seen all this before. I think that if Black Bolt is going to be involved, then the way they're going to explain Black Bolt is he's not an Inhuman, he is a mutant. And that's how we get mutants into the MCU. So Professor X, Black Bolt, they're there together. Because Black Bolt in the comics is very, very wise, but like he can't speak. If he speaks to you, you die. Because his voice is so powerful that, I mean, it's like the word of God, essentially.
Right.
So, but, you know, he's such a powerful character that if they do introduce him, I think this is how they get the mutants into the MCU is using that Terrigen mist, and that's how they're created in their form. Because otherwise, wouldn't we have seen, right? I mean, wouldn't we have seen mutants before? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm grasping.
No, I think that's a good take.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. I mean, I've obviously you had to explain all this to me before we went on because I think I've said it on this show before, guys. Like, I'm not I'm not like super in depth into this stuff. Like, I just started really getting into the comic world about 5 years ago. So right. Black Bolt was a character that is until Inhumans and even after, like I had never heard of. So obviously I've had to do a little bit of research and learn like what he is, who he is, why he is, and to hear that take on it, I mean, because Marvel, the MCU, Disney, Marvel Studios, they have a tendency to take some of these great comic characters and put their own twist on it. And I think that that's a great way to introduce a character that has an incredible backstory like Black Bolt. And maybe they do it in this movie. Maybe they do give him some justice because he's much like Ultron, a character that has not really been given their proper justice.
Yeah.
So, Black Bolt, is he filling your fifth seat?
No.
No, okay.
No Black Bolt for me.
Okay.
Again, like I said, if they were going to introduce him, I think that might be how they explain mutants. But I think Kevin Feige and all the rest of them are a lot smarter than we are. So they probably got a good idea about how they're going to go about things. So I trust them.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break here in the middle. I want to put a little bit of a big announcement out there for everybody for the Right On Network. Late next week, we've already plugged The Office today. Let's do a little Parks and Recreation plug. So later next week, I'm going to have a one-on-one sit-down interview with Mr. Jim O'Hare, who played Jerry in Parks and Recreation. Super excited about that. So keep your eyes here on the YouTube channel. It should be out hopefully next weekend. The interview is scheduled for Thursday. I just don't know what time. But it's going to be great. I'm super excited. We met him in Pensacola at a Comic-Con convention.
You're not going to fangirl, are you?
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know me.
I hear you.
I didn't fangirl when I interviewed Bobby Bowden, so I'm probably gonna be okay.
Okay, all right. Because that's like your ultimate fangirl moment, right?
That was it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
like Shawn Michaels from WWE and probably Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
would be the next two.
Fair
And this dude
enough.
behind me, like Pedro
Mando.
Pascal,
Yeah.
maybe Mark Hamill.
I
can
can
keep
see
going.
that.
I can keep
I
going.
can see that.
I can keep going. Mark Hamill's a douche.
But hey, well, good luck with that next week. That sounds awesome.
Thank you. I'm super excited about it. So we've each got 4 chairs filled. We're both on the same page, Professor X. We have a different variant of Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, however you want to go about it. We both have a different variant of Iron Man. You say Superior Iron Man. I have Iron Man, just regular Iron Man, played by Tom Cruise, either way. And then we both got Mr. Fantastic. So we've each got 3 seats available. And it's very interesting on who could fill these seats.
Mm-hmm.
So do you already have your 3, or do I need to fill some time?
No, I've already got my 3.
Okay, cool, because I sat here and did mine. So I put some possibilities here on the screen, and some of them are just outlandish, but we wanted to kind of talk about some different options that we have.
Right.
We know
they could go with characters they've already introduced, or they could introduce new characters.
New characters, right.
So
they literally they could do whatever they want here at this point. So I just wanted to put a couple of these down, and I want to start on my first one. There's going to be a female in the Illuminati. And that's just my opinion. I think that Marvel and Disney, they're going to make sure that they get their female in there. And we've seen from the trailers that it looks like she's fighting. Looks like Wanda is fighting what appears to be a variant of Captain Marvel, which could be Superior Iron Man. I mean, there's a good chance it's Superior Iron Man. But let's just pretend like it's a variant of Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is Maria Rambeau. I think that this is Monica Rambeau's mom. She just got exposed to the Space Stone instead of Carol Danvers, and she became Captain Marvel. And that's my 5th member is Maria Rambeau.
It makes sense. And I mean, we've seen, Marvel be very, very inclusive in their roles. So that makes sense, right? I didn't go with a female in mind, but I went with a character that we've already seen, and one that in our universe as we know it was probably one of the biggest bads, and that was Zhu Wenwu.
Ooh.
Shang-Chi's father.
I like it.
Right? I mean, he's as old as hell. I mean, a couple thousand years. So he's seen it all. He's done it all. Right? I mean, he's very, very bright. And we've seen him, in Shang-Chi give up his abilities, right? Give up the rings and raise a family. And then he only went back to being what he was after the death of his wife, right? So we've seen him have rational moments, and we've seen him be completely irrational. So I think this would be a great way to take one of the better villains in my mind and kind of bring him back into the fold, but he's not really a villain in this one.
Right.
Unless the entire Illuminati is the villain and
Like,
Strange has to take him down.
Was he ever the villain anyway?
Right.
Right, from a certain perspective.
Right. Because he thought he was just doing what was best for his family.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's your ultimate villain arc in like any movie ever,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So I've got Maria Rambeau, and you've got
Zhu Wenwu.
Okay. Sorry about the dead silence here.
No, that's all right.
All right. I'm going to go to your next one. I'm going to make you go next.
Okay. Mine is going to be Thanos.
Oh, Thanos. They got to get a big chair in there.
Yeah. I mean, he's super strong, right? He's super powerful, but he's very, very intelligent.
Very intelligent.
And he has shown the ability to have compassion, right? Ill-conceived, plans notwithstanding, he's had the ability to show compassion and put thought into his universe. So for me, it makes sense because what if Thanos didn't want to just snap half of, the universe out of existence? And what if he had a way, and had people on his side on Titan that, maybe we can do something about, how we're treating our planet or how we're treating the universe. I mean, because for so long it was just him, right? And it was him against the universe, and like that was his only thing. It's like, I'm the only one, right? So what if he's not the only one? What if he's got a group around him of similarly intelligent beings that have the same thoughts and cares and compassions, and now he's on this board with the rest of them?
I like that, and we've gotten to see somewhat of that in What If, right? Where Thanos is kind of, let's just say, whitewashed to be a good guy by
What was Star Panther?
By T'Challa, Panther, by T'Challa Star-Lord. I like that take, honestly, because Thanos does show compassion. He cries when he has to throw his daughter off the cliff. Like, what a weird, like,
because she was laughing, right? Gamora was like, "Ha, you
right.
don't love anyone." And he's like,
yeah. I love you, dude. Like, that's I like that a lot, man. Because he another thing, he doesn't break his deals.
No.
Like, when he snapped the universe away, he made sure Tony lived, because that's the deal he made with Doctor Strange. Let him live. I'll give you the time stone. Boom. Tony Stark lived through it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Tony was the big piece, sacrificed himself in the end, but he's not. We hear Nebula say, "My father is many things, but not a liar."
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Thanos could be a very interesting choice for this. He's obviously a righteous guy, and he's genocidal, but maybe in a different universe he's not.
Well, and then I'm just thinking down the road here. I mean, if the Illuminati are around and he's a member of it, and Kang is doing his thing, what better person to have on your team to go against Kang than Thanos?
I wonder if Kang. I'll just go ahead and get into my next one.
Fire away, bro.
I mean, there's my next one. I think that we're gonna get. We know that Black Panther spent a very short time in the Illuminati in the comics, mm-hmm. and I'm gonna go ahead and say that Black Panther is on this Illuminati, except this variant. And I know this is not in the comics, but what if this is a Kang variant? That's Black Panther. I'm just trying to think of a way, because I think in the end, I think in a post-credit scene or something, we're going to see something similar to what we had in Loki, where Kang was in control of the TVA, and maybe Kang also ends up in control of the Illuminati, sole possession of it in the end of this movie. We know that Loki's head writer, is like a major part of the writing of this movie as well. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if we do see Loki as well in this movie, but
he's
different video
for the Illuminati. But yeah, we could possibly see him in there somewhere.
Different video.
So you think Kang is Black Panther?
I think a version of Kang, like maybe like a Nathaniel Richards, maybe like instead of becoming Iron Man like he does, or Iron Lad, I think it is. He becomes Black Panther.
Okay.
And they make it different. They put their own little twist on it. But I think he's going to be involved. We've got to see Kang at some point in a post-credit scene or something before Quantumania.
Right.
Because he's I guess he's like one of the main staples in that movie. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm guessing maybe in like a Thanos Guardians of the Galaxy role, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, mine is Black Panther as well. And this is what we kind of teased earlier, to fill the final seat there for me. But I think this is how we recast Chadwick Boseman, or recast T'Challa without
such a tough
Chadwick
conversation.
Boseman. And what I would love to see is Michael B. Jordan, but he's not Killmonger, right? He was, his father and him were accepted back into Wakanda. And then he trains and then learns and then grows, and then he steps into the mantle. Maybe something happens to his T'Challa, and then he steps into the role of Black Panther, but he's not this homicidal maniac. Right. Whether justified or not. But I mean, has there been a better villain in the MCU than Killmonger?
I don't think so.
He was fantastic.
Honestly,
he was.
I mean, you can make a case for Thanos. I think just because of how, like we've already talked about it, just how incredible the story was for him. I mean, honestly, no.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Let's bring him back in the fold here, man. Let's make Michael B. Jordan be T'Challa, and think about the repercussions of that, right? So, like, let's say, you know, this version of the Black Panther comes back into our fold, and now he's coming into our Wakanda, right? So this universe knows him as Killmonger, but you know they see Michael B. Jordan portraying T'Challa, and they're like, you know, or the Black Panther, however you want to do it, and like it's like, you know, holy crap, this is the guy we knew as our villain, and now he's, you know, our king.
And I think that can make for an interesting concept in the next Black Panther movie.
Right.
Like they're struggling with accepting this new guy that they've seen his face before, but they've never seen his this likeness of this character, and like they got this internal struggle going on, and then they get attacked by Atlantis, and it's like that's your perfect movie, right? You got your internal struggle, and then you got your external struggle, and eventually they figure out the internal to defeat the external.
Yeah,
and I think that that's perfect. I like that. I like that a lot. My final seat, and I'm just gonna go ahead and reach because I'm trying to be different. And you did the same thing with Thanos. I think you reach and you want to be different. You want to just you want to make that crazy prediction. We've heard the rumors that that I forget the actors' names at these points. Chris Evans is possibly going to cameo in this movie. So in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the kid asks Falcon where Cap is, and he says on the moon. What if this is where he's at?
Yeah.
What if he is part of the Illuminati? What if he's like a guardian of the multiverse, if you will? And we see Chris Evans. We see Cap. Like maybe he's not Captain America. Maybe he's a different variant of it. Maybe he's just Steve Rogers. Maybe he's just old man Steve chilling up there. But I think this is good. This is good. He's a right.
Is this Captain Carter, Steve Rogers?
Oh, Captain Carter! I did not even think about
because
Captain Carter.
Her shield is in the poster.
Yeah, because she is damn. Probably should have been her, right? She's gonna have to be a part of this. She carries a sword too.
Yeah,
we saw it in What If. Man, I didn't even think about her. I mean, her shield's 100% in the poster. There's no question about that.
No.
And I mean, we do see Doctor Strange breaking into an animated universe at some point in the trailer. Very short, but I don't know if we're going to get the animated version of Captain Carter, but Haley Atwell she's on great standings with them. She still does all of her voice work.
Yeah.
I mean, she was around for Endgame. She did Civil War. She did, well, not Civil War, but she did Winter Soldier. She's done all of her own work. She did her voice in What If.
Yeah.
So she's on good standings. I wouldn't be shocked to see her as the 7th member. That's a good. Damn, got me again.
Again, there's so many possibilities.
There are. It's just endless at this point.
I mean, and tell us yours, right? What are your 7? Like, we're assuming that there's 7 seats based on the footage that we've seen. Of course, you know how Marvel does. They tease things, and it could be 3 seats. We don't know. I mean,
maybe it's just Patrick Stewart,
or maybe it's just Patrick Stewart. And
not even
just
Professor X.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't know, but, you know, we'd love to get some comments, you know, so make sure you comment down below. Tell us who your 7 is going to be, and, you know, give a quick explanation of why. And then, you know, if you've got an outlandish one or something that maybe we haven't thought about, please let us know. And then, you know, we'll do our best to bring it up in the next video so that, you know, maybe we can keep this ball rolling, because we've got 2 months
May 6th, right? Yeah.
It's my birthday, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. So
what a better way to spend it.
There you go. So, you know, we've got 2 months until the movie comes out. There's still going to be a lot of things that are going to be posited. So, you know, let's put them out there, and then we'll discuss. And, you know, if we get enough comments and enough, you know, great ideas, maybe we can do a show about it and really kind of, you know, expound upon your ideas.
Absolutely. We've got a lot coming up. We've got Batman this weekend, right? We've got Moon Knight coming up. We've got Kenobi coming out soon. She-Hulk's this year, but Multiverse of Madness, without a doubt, is.
Well, we got Thor at the end of this year.
Thor is in July. We got Black Panther at the end of this year.
Well, we got Guardians
next year.
Yeah, so we got a lot.
Ant-Man's next year. Damn. Are we ever gonna get Another Avengers movie. Probably not.
I doubt it.
I do want to spend a vid. I want to do a video about that eventually too.
Mhm.
Like if we're done with the Avengers, then where are we going?
Right.
A
What's
lot.
the end game, if you will?
Right. Yeah. What the hell are we doing this for?
Right.
If we're not getting another Avengers movie. Who knows? All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Adam, thank you so much as always for being here.
Dude, fun show, man. I really enjoyed it.
This was a good one. Did it feel like we went 40 minutes?
No,
Not
it
at
just
all.
Felt like two dudes just sitting here talking.
Felt like we could feel like we could go 40 more at least with all the other possibilities.
Right.
But to everybody else, make sure you like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Like Adam said, let us know who you think is going to be in the Illuminati. Just fill 7 seats for us. Like theoretically, just fill those last, because I think that's the most fun part. Because getting out of the obvious is the most fun, and just trying to fill those last 3 with theoretical characters. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave comments, do whatever you need to do. Pay attention to the Right On Network YouTube channel. A lot of big stuff coming up. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.